Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Hiba, and here on my channel I talk about recent missing person cases. If you're into that type of content, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's case. Today I want to talk about Morgan Sessions. Morgan is a 17-year-old girl from Eagle Mountain, Utah, a city 40 miles south of Salt Lake City. As far as we know, September 20th was a seemingly normal day for Morgan and her family. That evening, she worked on homework with her mom, Becky, prior to going to bed. When family members awoke the following morning, Morgan was gone. All of her belongings, however, were still at home, including her purse, her cell phone, her car, and so on. Since that night, there hasn't been any activity on Morgan's bank accounts or any of her social media accounts. This is completely unlike her. According to those who know Morgan, she was always on social media prior to her disappearance. She also has not showed up to school or work. Days after her disappearance, it was revealed that a neighbor's security camera had seen an individual believed to be Morgan leaving the house at around 2 a.m. In this video, an individual is seen carrying a laundry basket and getting into an older white sedan with a male driver. Unfortunately, the video is too grainy to make out the license plate. The Utah County Sheriff's Office seems to be convinced that Morgan ran away. In a press release on October 5th, the Sheriff's Office stated that Morgan also left a note saying she intended to move to the St. George area with friends. We have been unable to confirm if Morgan is, in fact, in St. George. St. George is a city where Morgan previously lived, and it's about 4 hours and 15 minutes away from her home in Eagle Mountain. Morgan's family, however, does not believe that she ran away. They've since clarified that the note talking about moving to St. George was actually crammed into a nightstand where there were also other old personal notes. So it's not like the note had been placed on a desk or on her bed waiting to be found. Her mother explained that she later found the note when she was looking through Morgan's things. It's unknown when this note was written, and it could have been years ago. In this comment on the sheriff's Facebook post, Becky, Morgan's mom, writes, "This is Morgan's mom. This post leads me to believe they're not treating this as seriously as they should. What they are not telling you is that the note was found crammed into her nightstand along with a lot of other older personal notes. I found it later when going through all her things. It wasn't left out on her bed to be found or something. Morgan has a history of writing down her thoughts when she feels them. Lots of teens have thoughts of wanting to move out, but when someone moves out, they don't do homework with their mom the night before. They don't talk about their plans with their mom about what she wants to do after she graduates. They also don't decide to start working a new job in SS 2 weeks before moving to St. G. She's an addicted social media teen. There's been 0 logins to anything of hers. She hasn't touched her bank account. She left her phone and car. She hasn't told a single friend about anything. I haven't heard from the police since last Friday about the case, despite sending texts asking for an update. I only see this posted after I offer up a reward for her return. She is missing, and this is a nightmare for the family." It's clear that Morgan's family don't believe that she simply ran away. As highlighted in her mother's comment, Morgan had recently started working a new job. She'd spent months saving up to get a car. Why would she just leave it behind and vanish? Also, like I mentioned earlier, Morgan worked on her homework with her mother the night that she disappeared. It was in her backpack and ready to take with her to school the next day. To me, that indicates that she didn't plan on going anywhere. We also know that Morgan is graduating this year. If she really did want to move to St. George with her friends, she wouldn't have to wait long in order to be able to do so. Even if Morgan did in fact run away, she's only 17. The age of majority in Utah is 18, so law enforcement should be searching for her regardless. I believe that they have done some searches. However, as indicated by Morgan's family, their efforts haven't been enough. In fact, according to Morgan's sister, they have yet to even check her Chromebook to see who she talked to in the days leading up to her disappearance. Obviously, that could provide key information into where she is or what happens. It seems as if law enforcement has simply made up their minds that Morgan is a runaway, which again, even if that is the case, she still needs to be found. especially considering the fact that her bank account hasn't been touched for nearly a month now. As with most cases, of course it's possible that Morgan did intentionally leave, but based on what we know, I don't think that's likely. When it comes to theories, there's been some speculation that Morgan may be with her father, Troy Sessions, or that he may know where she is. It appears that Morgan's parents are separated and that they don't live in the same area. From what I could gather, her father and stepmother didn't initially post about Morgan's disappearance, which led some people to speculate that they may be hiding her. However, I wouldn't simply come to that conclusion based on lack of posts alone. Of course, if there are other clues that may indicate that she is with him, that's another story. Regardless, I'm sure the father's home was one of the first places to be searched and that he has been questioned. I also think that he would have come forward by now, or that Morgan would have if this was the situation. I've also seen some question about her mother potentially knowing more than she's letting on. Apparently, some individuals think that it's odd that her mother would peek into her room to check on her, considering that Morgan is 17. I'm assuming this was that morning or when the family eventually realized that Morgan wasn't in her room. To me, it's completely normal that her mother would peek in or check on her. My mom does the same thing when I'm at home, and I'm 26. I think that some parents have more of a tendency to check in, whether it's peeking into a room or calling more often or whatever. I don't think that it's necessarily a sign of anything. I check on my cat at least 3 times a day, and she's usually in the same room with me. I've also seen this comment floating around which states, "I'm in a relationship with her father's coworker who is quite close with him, and he feels everything is wrong. Just based off of his accounts and the PIs he's hired, the mother is hiding something. The fact that the story seems to be changing on the mother's side, paired with her not wanting to relinquish the video evidence of Morgan allegedly getting into a white sedan, is highly suspect. She has no boyfriend, and what 17-year-old would leave her phone behind? Plus, if they have a car, why not use it?" From what I hear, her and her mother had a giant fight regarding Morgan wanting to move out, which led the mother, Rebecca, to lock up the phone and car keys. Hence the weird statement Rebecca made, "I haven't used her phone or spent her money." Basically, through hearing more than one side given to the news, all of this seems suspicious, and I'm willing to bet that her mother has a great role in this alleged disappearance. Help this family find their daughter. Eagle Mountain is about 50 miles south of Salt Lake City, and St. George is another 150 plus miles south of that. I hope this information helps, but like anything, look past the official narrative. I don't think that this comment makes much sense. If a fight did occur, how would anyone know about it, considering that this alleges that her mother took her phone? As far as I know, Morgan's mother has not changed her story. I also believe that the camera footage was captured by a neighbor's camera, so I'm not even sure that her mother has this footage to release it. We also know that some things must be kept from the public, especially considering that this is an open investigation. In my opinion, based on what we know, I don't think that either of the parents are involved. I hope this doesn't turn into a blame game scenario where both parties just bash each other. In terms of other theories, I wonder if it's possible that Morgan was potentially seeing someone, maybe someone who was several years older than her. Maybe this person dropped by that night and Morgan came out to chat or to give them something. Like I mentioned earlier, Morgan appears to be carrying a laundry basket in the video. She might have planned to sit in the car and chat for a few minutes before coming back inside. That could explain why she left her phone and other belongings behind. However, we know that that's not what happened. Morgan obviously didn't come back inside. If this is what happened, I don't think that it was Morgan's plan to leave that night. Another possibility may be that she was instructed to leave her phone behind, or that she chose to so she couldn't be tracked. I saw it mentioned somewhere that Morgan's family couldn't get into her phone because she'd recently changed the password. She might have had a plan to go on a late night adventure with the promise that she would be back in the morning in time for school, or at least within the next few days. If this is what happened, I don't believe that it was Morgan's intention to leave, at least not long term. Morgan is described as shy and a bit naive. and I really hope that someone didn't take advantage of that. Something that I find odd is that I don't see Morgan's friends or people her age talking about this or coming forward with additional information. It's typical that rumors would emerge after something like this happens. People talk, especially teenagers. However, I haven't seen that in this case. If Morgan did in fact have an older boyfriend, wouldn't she have at least told one other person? Overall, I'm not really sure what to think. What I do know though is that we're entering the 4th week of Morgan being missing. Her family has been searching for her themselves. They've checked cameras at nearby gas stations and Starbucks locations and even looked into homeless shelters. Unfortunately, with as much time that's passed, Morgan could really be anywhere by now. Someone knows something, whether it's a family member, a friend, or someone who just happened to see something, and that person needs to come forward. I truly hope that Morgan is found safe as soon as possible. Morgan is 5'1". She has blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information about her whereabouts, the number for you to call will be down in the description below, as well as some sources. As always, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.